Hello, my name is Chris Houston.
And I'm Kiana Houston.
And this is week 5 of Virtual High School, where we talk about what's going on in Kiana's world and the virtual high school. So this week we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of virtual high school again. We're also going to be talking about what does being grown mean and how do you get there? And Kiana's been running 1.5 miles every day. We're going to talk about how that feels and why is she doing that anyway.
Here I am where the movie started, facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies and petals happen.
So first, what do you think about the distractions in virtual high school? So we spoke about this in an earlier video that the distractions were a lot less. And I've noticed that Kiana gets her homework done quicker. Right after school, she jumps right on her homework, gets everything done. They get a little hour break for lunch. She does work, or when she's eating or whatever, then she still works on stuff then. And it seems like it's a lot less distractions than I even anticipated. So I think that's a good thing, right? And Kiana says it's good, bad, I don't know. What do you think? Distractions doesn't matter?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen as frequent as in school. So that's good. Right. But I do get homework done a lot faster and efficiently. So
okay. There's some parts that I guess she's has some other things that she's been noticing during this year as far as virtual high school. And she said something earlier about English. What's going on with English?
So English in middle school was a little bit simpler with books and readings and stuff like that. But I've noticed now in high school that my teacher likes to get a lot deeper into the topic instead of just kind of not briefly going into it, but going into it to the point where we understand it and we can move on. He likes to go a lot more deeper and a lot more into the understandings and concept of it. So that makes the assignments a little bit harder to grasp sometimes because it's not, you can't really just learn Greek mythology in a weekend because there's a lot that happens. So the assignments, I've noticed that they're a lot more tedious, and I've noticed that he is very detail oriented with his assignments. So certain things have to be explained differently and certain things have to be noticed or present in your assignment. And I realize that I appreciate a more direct teacher than a teacher that is very picky. So.
Okay. All right. So Greek mythology, how's that going? Is it weird?
It's so weird.
Stop moving your chair.
I haven't been doing that. I didn't do it. It is a little weird. It's a lot. I don't recommend reading it if you're like in 5th, 6th grade because you're really not going to understand it. Yeah, it is weird though. It is. Yeah. It's not an easy thing.
Yeah, I saw some of the things you guys were doing, and it's anyway. So let's talk about something. One of the I talked earlier about the distractions being a pro, right? It's good that there's less distractions. So let's talk about one of the cons that we noticed this week. Actually, it happened last week also. And it's when, let's say both Diana and Kiana, they work downstairs and I'm normally upstairs. So normally they have their earphones in and everything kind of runs smooth downstairs. The other day, Diana had a conference call she needed to jump on, and Kiana had a PE class that she was doing. And during the PE class, since Kiana has to stand away from the computer, she couldn't wear her earphones. So she had to turn her volume up on her laptop. Well, at the same time, Diana was on a conference call, so we had to kind of work through that real quick. So what are we going to do? Today we're going to go to Home Depot.
Yes.
And we're going to get some of those noise deadening curtains because there's a doorway that goes into where Kiana sits, and there's a doorway that goes into the kitchen. So that entire section is kind of where Kiana sits. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some sound deadening curtains on both of those doorways to make sure that they don't step on each other when they're talking or when they do have to take their earphones out for whatever reason. So it's a con, but it's something that we can fix real easy. Now, since we talked about taxes last week, of course, you know, I have a 14-year-old that can't wait to be 40 years old.
No.
So we also talked about this week, and it's not just this week, in previous weeks, Kiana asked me a question one time. She said, Dad, what's it mean to be grown? How do you know when you're grown? I said, you know what, that's a good question. You remember asking me that?
Unfortunately, I do.
I said, you're grown when you can basically take care of yourself, right? And I'm not just talking about, hey, I can get up and I can go in the refrigerator and cook something to eat. Or I can go into the bathroom and take a shower by myself. No, grown means that not only can I go into the kitchen and get something to eat and cook it, I can also purchase those things that are in the refrigerator. Being grown doesn't mean that you can take a shower by yourself. It means that you're paying for the water bill to take that shower. You know, you wash your clothes on a regular basis. Yes, being grown means that you paid for the washer and dryer where those clothes are being washed. So we kind of talked about that, how being grown and taking care of yourself and being responsible for yourself. You're always going to have parents, but being responsible for yourself that's what I consider being grown. Having your own car, paying your own bills, paying your own car note, your own car insurance, all of that is being grown. So along with being taking care of yourself as far as financially and all of that, you also have to think about, we talked about school and we said school was important, but what else was more important?
Personal development.
Personal development. So personal growth is also very important. And this week, or starting next week, I'm going to be teaching a course, The 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. And we're going to be going over, how do you grow? How does this personal development thing even work? And we're going to talk about growth and how you continually grow, because growth doesn't just happen. Personal development, it just doesn't happen. It's not a natural process. No one really teaches you how to do that growing up a lot of times. Our parents, they teach us a lot, but how to systematically put things in place so you can grow. We're going to talk about that. And why don't we grow? What happens? And in my class, I'm going to talk about some things are like the fear of failure. Some people don't grow because they don't want to try new things because they're afraid that they may fail. Fear of others' opinions is something else that happens. You know, you're young, you're in high school, and sometimes what happens is you might get with a group of students who say you might be a little nerdy if you take some advanced classes. Well, fear of others' opinions is something that you shouldn't have. Lastly is fear that success will push others away. There's a saying, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most. So meaning that those 5 people, if they're successful, there's going to be a lot of people who may not want to hang around those successful people for whatever the reason is. Now, let's talk about the 1.5 miles that Kiana's running every single day. It's almost like you're getting ready for the Olympics or something. What's going on? Why are you running all these miles? I don't understand. What's going on?
So, since quarantine kind of happened, I haven't been watching my diet as much as before. So, we had a little issue in the abdomen area, and I had to start exercising every day because that was getting a little, how do I put this, annoying. So I've been doing that and obviously other exercises, but yes, running 1.5 miles has been helping a lot.
But you run and you do exercises after you run too, right? So you run for 1.5 miles and that takes about what? 15 minutes?
Yes.
Takes about 15 minutes to do that, and then you do another 15-20 minutes worth of, what is it, stretches, or what do you do?
Just other exercises to build, your core, abs, and your quads, just to not just run, but also build other muscles.
Got it.
I didn't do it that time. Why are you laughing?
I'm waiting on you to finish.
into time.
So we've talked about distractions in virtual high school. We've talked about what it means to be grown, and we've talked about Kiana's new daily 1.5 mile runs. And we've also, just to throw this in there, we have to find time. We got to continually find time to kind of talk to one another because we're not doing our walks anymore. I still walk. She still does her 1.5 miles. But now we have to still find that time so we can sit down and discuss what goes on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, because we do plan on making these videos once a week. My name is Chris Houston.
I'm Kiana Houston.
Thank you very much. Good night and God bless.
Yours all.
Here I am where the movie started, facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies and petals happen.